Hey, it's Daddy Steve. Please click on the Deck Heroes icon, click on subscribe. It's 100% free. Blood in, blood out. This is a dating video, and also click on notifications just so you don't miss any amazing content. This video is so funny to me. I've got a silly sense of humor. But it's about kind of semi-serious. It's about a serious subject. Dating 6 years, not married, no ring, nothing on the horizon as it goes. What could that possibly be? Why could that possibly be? Now, as a man, I've dated people in long-term relationships for many years and not been married. I don't know if that means anything at all. But anyway, Dr. John's got his own kind of little bit of a life story and his own point of view on this relationship, which I think is absolutely fascinating. When we get to that point, we'll debate it a little bit more. It'll be very interesting to hear other people's kind of point of view on the same thing. I think the advice was a little bit extreme. We'll see. Let's go.
Hi, Dr. John. Thank you for taking my call.
Thanks for calling in. Let's shake off that last call. What's up?
So I was hoping you could help me with something I've been dealing with. So my boyfriend and I have been dating for about 5.5 years.
Good God, why? Why so long?
That's what I want to talk to you about.
Is it you or him?
It's him.
It's him. Okay.
I'm ready. I've been ready for a while. He's known. I told him on our 2-year anniversary I thought he was the one. I was ready, and he's just not there yet.
Okay.
So my question is, how do you know? Like, how would I know if I should still be patient and give him more time, or when it's time to potentially walk away from the relationship?
He doesn't need more time.
No.
What else is he going to learn about you?
I do feel like I've grown a lot.
We all have. If y'all gotten married 2 years ago, y'all would have grown into completely different people. That's the beauty of being married.
Okay.
Like, you're not searching for this one place where you're finally going to arrive and solidify yourself in concrete and finally be the one.
You know what? I think that's something that we all agree. Listen, obviously, well before 5.5 years, you know the person that you're with well enough to know whether you have any intention to marry or not. That's true.
You're going to be a wonky, wobbly, goofbally Anna. Y'all going to get married, and you're going to find out weird things about each other, and you're going to continue to wake up every day and say, all right, I chose her. So what do I do next? I chose him. What am I going to do next?
Okay.
And here's how I know this. Okay, this is me speaking from personal experience. I dated my wife for 5 years. And I'll never forget, I was fishing with my buddy. Me and Ryan were fishing. It was late into the night, and fishing is probably overselling it. We would throw catfish lines out, often catch nothing, but catching fish was just an excuse to sit on the side of a lake and hang out together. And he said, when are you going to marry that girl? And I said, man, I just love being single. And he looked at me and said, I won't use the words that he used. I'll edit them for this. But he said, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. You're the lamest single guy I've ever met. You don't go out. You're not like playing the field. It's not like, he said, I think you're just a coward. And I remember going, oh gosh, I've been thinking this is about her. It's not about me. It's about me. Has he
Just a second before we move on. There's a few key things to remember. She's been in a 5.5-year relationship. Dr. John was in a 5-year relationship. He was dating this girl for those 5 years, but he said to his friend that I'm single. Let's just kind of rewind that 20 seconds. I'm sure he's just said to his friends, he wasn't saying that he was dating this girl 5 years. He wasn't saying, oh, this is my partner, my girlfriend. He said, I'm single. Let's go.
You're the lamest single guy I've ever met. You don't go out. You're not like playing the field. It's not like, he said, I think you're just a coward. And I remember going, oh gosh, I've been thinking this is about her. It's not about me. It's about me.
Yes. So he said that he was a single guy, 5 years. That's the circumstances which kind of led him to have a change of heart. It wasn't that he was kind of like thinking, you know what? Yeah, she's a queen. And in fact, the qualities that I'm looking for are this. This obviously has some kind of long-term potential. I've been with her for 5 years. Yeah, I can see I'm happy. It's not dysfunctional. She's just good to be around. I don't want to be with anybody else. I actually love this girl. yeah, I should be a great mother to kids and all that kind of stuff. I don't want anybody else. Oh my God. Something like that. Nothing at all. Well, maybe that's what's going to come next. We'll see.
Has he given you any hints or ideas as to why 3.5 years after you told him, I think I'm ready to call it with you, you're my guy, that he's like, nah?
Yeah, and I have them here. I asked him a couple weeks ago.
Please make me a list. Please make me a list. Oh, this is going to be great.
I actually
Okay, go
did
for it.
ask that, and I don't think it went as well as I thought. It's kind of hard to hear, but I do have my list.
Okay, go for it.
His biggest one is losing his identity.
Yes. He will not only lose his identity, he will set fire to it.
Yeah.
And he will create a new one with you.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what marriage
he said
is.
that-
It's not this parallel track we take together.
What does that mean? You lose your identity, like, whoop. So I'm not married, so I genuinely don't know. I mean, what does that mean? What does that mean? It doesn't qualify. It could mean absolutely anything. I mean, everything's a joint decision, or you just can't do anything unless it. I don't know. I don't know. It could be anything. Wow. I wish we could have a bit more. Anyway, let's go forward.
Yeah, he said that it's kind of feeds into a lot of his reasons, but he's scared that I'm going to be too stringent, which I am, kind of stringent, but he's scared he's going to live a life that he does not enjoy with me.
And
Part of that.
Hold on. He's scared that she's going to be too stringent about what? That she's going to be too kind of. It's got to be expectations, hasn't it? That the expectations levels is going to go up to. That's the maximum right there. See with my eyeball? That's like 100%. It's going to be in that kind of 100% zone. Too stringent. I mean, what else is it going to be? I mean, that's a reason not to marry somebody. That's a reason just to make sure. Yeah, that you just kind of see how things go a little bit more, maybe. I think. Don't know. Anyway.
I want to break up with you, but he's too much of a coward to do that. And I'm sorry to say that.
No,
And that's
part of
him
that
saying,
is-
I want to break up with you, but he's too much of a coward to do that.
Wow. The doctor, based on what she said about, what did he say? What did she say? Yeah, too stringent. 5-year relationship. She's read a list. There wasn't, I don't know. The list didn't say something like, okay, I want to meet other people, or I don't know, nothing really. I don't know, listen, was anybody else expecting that the advice at this stage we're like 4 minutes into this call, and the doctor has advised this caller that more or less that relationship is over. Oh my God. Anyway, let's go.
And I'm sorry to say that.
No, I appreciate it.
In fact, we're going back. We're going to go back and just double check that we haven't missed something, hopefully.
It's not this parallel track we take together.
Yeah, he said that it's kind of feeds into a lot of his reasons, but he's scared that I'm going to be too stringent, which I am, kind of stringent, but he's scared he's going to live a life that he does not enjoy with me.
And
Part
that's
of
him
that
saying,
is-
I want to break up with you, but he's too much of a coward to do that. And I'm sorry to say that.
No,
Listen, I'm not going to stop it again now. I'm going to let it run because I know what's coming next. But got to remember John's story. Like I said before, John's story was it 5 years into the relationship, and he wasn't ready and he wasn't thinking along those lines until somebody had a random conversation with him. And again, he wasn't thinking about the qualities of the person he was with, which kind of inspired him to say, yeah, I want to get married. Oh, he didn't mention it. Didn't think to mention it. And John's amazing. He's a psychologist. I've got a degree in psychology and I've got a master's in economics. But he didn't kind of... He feels sure enough, I say 4 minutes in, just because he's too stringent, just because her partner thinks that she might be too stringent, and it's been 5 years to say your relationship's over and he's not interested, even though for him, as I said, 5 years into his relationship, he was in a more or less same situation, maybe even worse. Okay, because he did. Anyway, let's go forward.
I appreciate it. I've spent a lot of time in this relationship, and
I know.
this has been a big, heavy thing for me to think about.
How old are you?
I'm 27. He's 30.
Okay. I think we have a tendency, especially... No, I think, you know what? I was going to say young age, but I think all across the board that we look at relationships like a 401k. I put this much time into it and this much effort into it, so it needs to ROI here. But my question I would ask you is, what have you learned about Anna over the last 5 years?
I have learned, and first of all, I've learned I like control
Okay.
a lot. So about a little over a year ago, I actually hired a Christian life coach, and
Okay.
we've been working on that. When I first met him, I was very shy, and I still am, and I was very much like, I'm never going to.
Before we go past that, she has got a life coach. What's she saying now? Too stringent, she said earlier, and now she's saying that she likes control. This conversation should be about highlighting the red flags, basically, and just saying, listen, this guy obviously, I mean, everybody's entitled to their own opinion, but I think it should be, this guy obviously likes you, he's with you for 5 years. The key issue that he mentioned, that you've highlighted yourself, is that you've said that you're too stringent and you like controlling your own words. Just to stick with that and just analyse whether you are actually too stringent. And if you are, then address it. And then with that kind of, if you overcome the obstacles which are in the way of marriage, and he's been with you for 5 years, after you've overcome it, and it's quite clear to see, and you've demonstrated it, that's possibly the right time to have another conversation. Following that conversation, you'll know where you stand. She's 27. She has got time on her side. You know what I mean? It's definitely obviously complicated with body clock and things like that. She's got time on her side, all things considered. You know what I mean? And she obviously loves this guy 5 years in, and he obviously 5 years in, they both very likely love each other. You know what I mean? So that's the advice I would give based on known information. I don't know. What do you guys think? Or do we think that we already know enough that relationship is over? Anyway, let's go.
Like, I was scared to travel, but now I'm going on solo trips. I just went to Europe. Like, I've really opened my shell.
That's amazing.
I'm traveling all the time.
So I want to tell you, if you don't end up marrying this person, the last 5 years aren't a wash.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
I've grown so much and learned so much.
Yeah.
Like, I don't regret it at all, regardless of what happens.
Yeah. So why does he continue?
Before we go forwards, I think that's amazing advice that he gave right there. Just a reminder of fact, really, in as much as I think some people exit relationships and they feel that they've lost time, like he said, like a 401k, that it should pay out, or that we've lost. Well, it's not ideal, obviously, if you wanted it to go somewhere else and it just didn't. But like she said, to be fair, and like what he said, Dr. John, we grow from relationships, and as long as we are growing and we've developed, and it's not a toxic thing taking us backwards that we've chosen to remain within, you know, on occasion, it's taken us forwards and upwards, and we're kind of better people now, you know what I mean? And if that's what it is, and that's what she said, or what she agreed to, then you just got to cherish the time that you had together and move forwards if that ultimately is the outcome. But hopefully, I think she's still got a chance, or they've still got a chance to do something with this relationship, and we'll see.
Continuing to date you, even though he said, I think being with you as your husband would cause me to live a life I don't want to live?
Probably comfort. We are long distance now, and we have been for about half the relationship.
Okay. I
know his parents.
See, that's a biggie. It depends what she means by long distance. So I'm in England. I'm in the UK. You know, so it's a very small island. And long distance for me is just like, I don't know, an hour. You know what I mean? In the States, that could be a much larger distance. And for me, and I know it's different in the States, I do acknowledge that. Somebody chooses to move away and distance themselves from you, and you hardly ever see them because obviously it's impractical to do things. That's a relationship on dodgy ground, and just staying in touch with the odd phone call or text messages or whatever it is. That's not a relationship. That's just kind of trying to. It's like stopgap. You know what I mean? So that's the more worrying thing. I say marriage is about day to day, you know what I mean? And they're obviously not there at the moment. And say if they've moved further away, then they've gone even further away from that desired destination. So, yeah, I think a good question is, why has it become long distance, and is that something that they could try narrowing that distance and maybe even try living together and trying to see if there's something there? And if he's definitely not up for that after 5 years, then I think that is when there's key questions about their relationship. But anyway, let's see where this goes.
Don't get
We're
a
very
vote.
controlling.
Who cares about his parents? He
Oh,
doesn't
they
get a
don't.
vote.
No, they love me.
Okay. I'm just saying, like,
It's all good.
yeah. If they're very controlling, it doesn't surprise me that he's been dating somebody who's controlling because his body wants to solve that problem.
Yeah.
And he's
I
also.
don't know if I'm controlling, but
Well,
sorry, go ahead.
you said like you've been controlling, right? But he's also married somebody who's been controlling and who's actively in the process of doing the work to open her hands. That's what love and growth looks like. He's just choosing not to do love and growth. He's choosing to do love. He's not choosing to do growth with you.
It's fair.
And that breaks my heart for you.
God is good. I know something good will come out of it.
I think the thing for you is
Just a second. It's not confirmed that either of them are particularly loving. They seem to be committed to a relationship. I don't know about love on either side. I mean, she says that she wants to marry him, and that's not necessarily love. We don't. Well, we don't know we don't know the depth of the motivations. But progression. If progression is only marriage. Progression isn't only marriage, because I just said a minute ago they could start living together and have more kind of joined lives. That's progression. It ain't like from 0 to marriage. It takes 0. Anyway, let's go.
to ask yourself what has come that's good out of it. You're traveling the world by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You got in with a coach to see like what are some practices I can do that are different, right?
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
learned what
work on
love
it.
is, and you learned what love's not. What else did he put on that list?
Oh, part of the stringency is church. We're both Christians, and church is very important to me. Like, I'm at church unless I'm traveling or sick. I'm at church pretty much every weekend. And he's not. He does love Jesus, but he doesn't put church as a priority, and he's scared, like, because I've told him, me and my husband and my future children, whoever they are, we're going to be going to church as a family.
And he's told you, I'm not.
He says he will.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, probably. Most
And he
guys I
does go
know
with me.
do one thing for 5 years and they just switch it on the dime.
Yeah. I mean, when we're together, we always go together.
Yeah.
And yeah, the other one is there's a lot of it's kind of funny saying these now, but he wants to find more activities that we have in common first.
See, that's another key thing. So he is telling her where they stand. I'm not saying. Listen, what I'm really thinking is I'm not sure they're actually in a relationship, as I said, by my standards. If you never spend any time together, and he's questioning whether they have anything really in common and all that kind of stuff, and yeah. Yeah, they need to spend some time kind of going through things. They spending more time getting closer in terms of distance, see if they're willing to make that happen. And it does sound like if that is going to happen, it's going to have to come from her effort, most likely, it seems. Obviously I don't know for sure, but that's the feeling I'm getting, and it's whether she has to have that conversation and decide to herself whether she, how far down that line she's willing to test these waters, and hopefully he'll try and meet her in the middle, and we don't know until they've had that conversation.
And you hear it when you say it, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I do.
I'm sorry.
Oh, thank you.
Tell me where this is in your body right now. Where are you feeling this?
In my gut.
Yeah. Is it heavy?
Mm-hmm.
Did you already know this before you called me?
I'm one of those people, I don't really give up on people. It's like once you're someone in my life, I'm going to do everything. But I've been fighting for this for a really long time.
Can I?
Hold on, did you know this before you called me? Know what? Know what? Is it we haven't established any facts whatsoever. We had a conclusion after 4 minutes into a call based on like scant facts, scant information. You know what I mean? And anyway, yeah, interesting. I love this call. I love this radio show, and to say Dr. John is a very smart man. But as I say, listen, we all got our own personal influence. We all have got our own take. My take might be wrong. As I said, I'm more than interested to know if people agree with me or disagree in the comments or something like that, and that's fine as long as it's positive. But I think I've laid out the case about where my thinking is coming from and based on what. And yeah. Anyway, let's see what else I say.
Reframe that for you.
Yes, please.
I don't think you're not giving up on him. I think you're loving him the way he is asking to be loved. He's asking you to honor his wishes. You're giving up on trying to build a home all by yourself while somebody else sits in the front yard in a lawn chair and says, I'm not building that house. I want a different house.
Mm-hmm.
So you're giving up on that building project. You're not giving up on him. In fact, you're giving him exactly what he wants because you love him.
Mm.
And that's to open your hand and let him go.
Okay. Just hard, and I know there's so many amazing people out there, but he really is
Don't go there yet. Don't go there yet. Just be sad.
Okay.
Be sad.
Just take for a moment. Imagine this for a moment, right? Imagine this for a moment. Say if your partner, right? Say if your partner goes to a therapist, right? And you think things are more or less ticking along, or just goes to a therapist for whatever reason, and next thing you know, it's like, nah, this thing is over. Why? I just had a session, and they just made things crystal clear to me. We've just talked it through. Number one, I mean, that's gonna pee you off. That's gonna pee anybody off, right? But just say if you actually had an opportunity to listen to that call, and then 4 minutes in, that therapist. I know he's not a therapist right now. He's a talk show host. You know what I mean? Whatever. But just say whatever because he's psychologist, doctor. 4 minutes in, that doctor has told your partner to break up with you based on nearly nothing. Wow. Oh, yeah, it's like that. I might be a little bit miffed. I don't know.
I'm curious why he doesn't have the courage to just end it with you.
He's a level 10 people pleaser.
So he's kind of a coward?
That sounds more harsh than people pleaser, but maybe.
He would rather lie to you and string something along instead of honor you and let you go because it's going to be uncomfortable for him.
Guys, man, again, if this was your girl 5 years in, and just say that you were interested in her, how pissed are you going to be with Mr. Dr. John right now? I'd be pissed. Anyway.
Yeah.
He would rather be comfortable and have you at the end of the line instead of either reel you in or cut the line.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, watching somebody else drown and not do anything about it is cowardice. I mean, you can call it what you want. You can call it people pleasing. You can call it any sort of fill in the diagnostic, but he knows what you want because you're a pretty amazing person and you've called it out. Here's what I need. And he's a pretty amazing guy. He's called it out. He just won't take the next step. So I think if I'm you, the next thing I would do is, when's the next time y'all are going to be together in person?
Labor Day. So about 3 weeks.
Okay. I'm pretty obsessive about things, and so I'd probably be on a plane today, but that's just how I roll. And that's not healthy. That's just how I do it. Mm-hmm. If you have to because of finances or work or schedules or whatever, if you have to wait till Labor Day, I would tell them, I see this list, and there's just simply some incompatible things, and so on Labor Day, we're going to get together, and we're going to have the hard conversation like adults across the table. Are we going to go our separate ways?
Okay.
Somewhere along the way, you have told yourself that it's your job to shore up all of his insecurities.
That was something me and my life coach went through the list, and we both agreed that I can't really solve most of these things.
You can't, and it's not an indictment of you. It's not an indictment of him. It's just the puzzle piece doesn't fit, and these are about values for you guys. These aren't about belief.
You know what? Now I'm thinking, I wonder if there was an edit in there. She might have gone through a list. We'll never know, right? We'll never know because I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt, aren't I? Really? Maybe there was things on that list, and Dr. John. Dr. John has kind of concluded, nah, this guy ain't serious. But even if there was, the one thing that he highlighted, or if there was an edit in there, the one thing that they kind of left for the listener to hear was not enough. You know what I mean? So I hope so for the sake of things, but based on known information, not so much. And sorry for the washing machine. Maybe I shouldn't have turned it on. Let's go.
If it was about beliefs, like we both agree on working out. Well, she likes to run and I like to ride bikes. All right, we can get married. That's great. We'll figure that out. But like value, I will be in church every week, period.
Had to have a change of location just to the washing machine. Apologies. Let's go.
To run and I like to ride bikes. All right, we can get married. That's great. We'll figure that out. But like value, I will be in church every week, period. And my person I marry will value that like me, and my kids will be raised in that environment. And he's saying they will not.
Yeah.
Then we've drawn a line. And it's been 5 years, and I just think you're worth. I think you're worth somebody looking at you and valuing you the way you have chosen to value you, and he does too. He does too.
Definitely.
My only beef with him is that he hasn't called it.
Yeah, not to make excuses for him, but he does have a very chaotic, stressful life, a hard job, and I think he's just trying to clean some of that up.
That's exactly you making excuses for him.
Okay. I heard it too.
Yeah, right as you said out loud. Yeah. There's a counseling practice that you just ask people to say their thing out loud and record it like on a little device or on their phone and just play it back. And it's often, oh my gosh, I didn't realize I was so negative, or oh my gosh, I didn't realize, right? You have that dialed in right when you say it. I can hear it like, oh no, yeah, you're right. Whew. Yeah, sounds like hard conversations in order. And for everybody listening, I don't fault either of these people here for drawing lines in the sand and for having boundaries. And people are allowed to feel how they feel. The only beef I have here is he's made a choice, and it sounds like a while ago, that what Anna needs and wants in her life for her future partner is not going to be him. And so my expectation is that when somebody gets there, they don't choose the path of, well, I want to be comfortable, so I'm going to let this person just dangle and at the end of this line until they decide to cut it. I'm going to be a person of integrity and look you in the eye and say, I love you, and I've had an amazing time with you. I don't think we are forever. I'm not going to choose to be forever with you. And live in that discomfort and that heartbreak and those deep, deep tears and that loneliness and that vacuum, and it will be heartbreaking. And if both people are living in integrity, the sun will come up. It will come up. Or maybe he looks at you and says, I'm crazy to lose you. I'm going to work on these things. Will you work on them with me? And now you got somebody maybe you can build a life with. Thanks for the call, Anna. Hey, let me know how that conversation goes. Whether you get on a plane today and go visit him or you wait for 3 weeks. I want to know how that conversation goes. And my hope is that both of you can say the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, and y'all can come to some resolution.
Interesting. I would seriously love to know how that whole thing works out, honestly. I'd love to know if there were edits, as I say, on that list of demands or the lists of worries, however you want. Not demands, list of worries that her partner had, because obviously that's the main thing to listen to, since she's already there and he's not quite there. Yeah, and whether she just follows through on the advice that was given after 4 minutes, that then these two that have been in a relationship for 5 years don't have anything there. You know what I mean? Mars just go straight to ending it, more or less. 5.5 years, sorry. And even though in John's situation, as I said, he was in that relationship for 5 years, 6 months less, and he didn't find himself in that position where he was actually thinking about marrying this girl. Didn't highlight any kind of qualities about why or anything kind of substantive about the reasons why. Yeah, that's the reason why. And kind of self-analyzing. Well, he did self-analyze the reason why he didn't. He just said that he was a coward. As I said, he's just referring to his now wife, I don't know. He was referring that he was single, even though he was in dating his maybe now wife for 5 years. There's a lot of things there. But as I say, to be honest, Joe, there's more about your relationship for the reasons said. But either way, yeah, it would be very interesting to know the outcome of this call. But yeah, I would have followed the advice that I gave, to be honest, just based on life experience. So say me and John have got a psychology background. He's a doctor. Mine is an undergraduate. Yeah, just try and just test the water. I was in a job with a guy who was doing some driver delivery, and I was in uni, kind of in between years, and he just said that you don't know somebody until you live with them, and so that's part of the reason why I suggested that one. And there's a lot of people in those long-term marriages, long-term situations who say that, and that maybe be the water that they need to test things. And he said to her, well, they're not sure about what they got in common, and I say if you're living together, there's every opportunity to test that. You know what I mean? But that is a surprising thing to highlight after 5 years, and that is a slightly worrying thing. It is a worrying thing. Not even a slightly worrying thing, it's a definite worrying thing. But anyway, another interesting call. Anyway, please like, subscribe, click on the notification so you don't miss any amazing content. I'm interested in these kind of life stories type things, so I'll probably do a few more kind of these kind of call-in things from various sources, including Dr. John. Hope all is good. Have a good day. That is Steve, and I'm out.